Hello, America. Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you for joining today to the webinar focused on digital solutions for traditional trade in the CPG industry. My name is Eduardo Marin. I'm part of the market development team in Mastercard Latin America. And today we have a special announcement for you. We are launching the white paper focused on digitizing solutions in traditional trade for CPG industry. And we are covering very special agenda in the next slide that we have been shared with you. The first topic will be the CPG industry landscape. What happened in the CPG industry? The second one will be the key digital trends in the CPG ecosystem. We're covering the Mastercard SME value proposition, especially designed for the CPGs. And also we will have a panel of experts today with a special conversations and some audience question and closing. So be aware this session will be recorded so you can access this conversation after this webinar. And also all the materials of all this information will be part of our amplifications, promotions using some social media, LinkedIn, and so special blog spots, mini white papers, and other publications that will be prepared for you in the future. So let's welcome to our special guest today. In the following slide, you guys can see the special. So let's start with the special guest with Ginger Sigel. Welcome, Ginger.
Thank you so much, Eduardo. It's a pleasure to be here today. And I have the pleasure of leading our small and medium enterprise business for North America, which includes the US and Canada. And to your point, CPG is extremely important to us here and look forward to the conversation.
Thank you, Ginger. Let's welcome Javier Steiner.
Hi, Eduardo. Thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be here. I'm CEO for Grupo Steiner, a logistics and distributor, CPG distributor in El Salvador and Guatemala.
A good friend of Mastercard, Federico Varillas.
Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here. I am the co-founder and CEO at Global Pay Solutions. And one of our products is a digital platform called Rocket that empowers micro and small retailers across Latin America by providing them with a comprehensive suite of tools to grow and manage their business efficiently.
Thank you, Federico. And let's welcome Pascal Riederer.
Well, thanks for the warm welcome, Eduardo. And it's just a pleasure to be a part of this communities of people who take action in empowering mom and pop shops and small businesses in the Americas. My name is Pascal and I'm with Mutual Value Labs. That's your insights to impact partner, helping the CPG industry bridge the different local context and making such programs work with like a global framework, but then bringing it down to every community in a particular way.
Thank you, Pascal. And now let's welcome Nicolás Ingaramo.
Hi, Eduardo. Thank you so much for having us. I'm part of the global SME team based in New York, looking after alternative distribution channels. I'm super excited to share today our progress and work that we have been doing with consumer product goods companies.
Thank you, Nico, for being here. And now let's welcome Ana Belén Ramirez.
Hi, Eduardo. Welcome, everybody. I'm part of the PCMI team, and I'm really excited to present these results for everyone to learn about it. Thank you.
Yes, Ana Belén, we're eager to know how the result means. So let's kick off the sessions talking about the CPG industry. So as you see, we launching the white paper focused on this industry, and right now we have to understand what does the CPG industry means, what happened in the CPG ecosystem. The consumer packaged goods is right now an industry that $3.2 trillion industry globally, and with an special market growth around $500 billion in sales. So as you see, this industry is very diversified and also covering a day-to-day, everyday sub-industry across the globe. The first one is alcoholic beverage, non-alcoholic beverage, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, logistic and transport services, and other professional services as well. So this is a big industry that's covering and embracing different challenges and opportunities. As you see, this industry in the following years, we will have we see the opportunities to covering and dealing with some challenge and needs, for example, related to the efficiency and optimized supply chain, compliance and competitive quality, sustainability and multi-channel growth, and also the accelerated digital transformation process. So again, we see the opportunity to working very close to the CPG industry as MasterCard is doing globally. So let's see how MasterCard is working with CPG industry across the globe.
MasterCard is well known for simple, secure digital payments. We're also driving the future of digital commerce for leading consumer goods companies who partner with us. With access to data across 3 billion cardholders, shopping at 92 million locations worldwide, plus market-leading technology, services, and unrivaled network, we help consumer goods companies generate growth through our innovation, digitization, and sustainability solutions. Pinpointing the true cause and effect in trade marketing activities is a challenge, and our patented test and learn platform optimizes in-market innovation through experimentation. Then, as consumers today choose between more and more brands, our loyalty and personalization tools can help grow sales whilst maximizing budgets across key retail accounts. Regularly paying suppliers late can impact your supply chain diversity and resilience, but with digital tools and insights to identify opportunities and risks, we can streamline supplier payments and secure your operation to help keep products on shelves. Small retail customers welcome growth advice too, so our market-leading microcredit program embeds education, digital tools, and credit via the distribution network to drive sales and inclusion in parallel. Together, with our combined assets, data insights, and networks, we can uncover new opportunities for sustainable digital growth.
So as you see, the MasterCard strategic approach with CPG is covering many, many topics. And in summarize, we have an innovation approach using leveraging the MasterCard data and the technologies to optimize the supply chain. The second one is the supply chain digitizations, covering some key accelerate and scale the new products that we have, connecting with account payables and receivables, connecting with treasury analysis, and among others. And one of the most important topic from now on will be the sustainability and the SME CPG approach across the ecosystem. So we see the opportunity to create a new acceptance locations for creating some cashless ecosystem, for creating microcredit programs for the SME, and embrace new financial inclusion programs in these verticals. So drive digitizations and social impact from the industry is one of the key and the most important strategy that we have with CPG in this year. So we see in the next slide the huge opportunity we have identified in this white paper. A $450 billion opportunity is a big opportunity, not only for digital flows. We are embracing a number of millions of SME customers that live in the supply chain distribution channels, and also the opportunity to embrace this program connected with our sustainability and our financial inclusion program. Some banks, fintechs, government, merchants, many players are ready to jump into this opportunity and accelerate the digital transformations and the inclusion in the digital economy globally. So this is why MasterCard has launched the white paper focused on digital solution for the traditional trade in the CPG industry. Now we are presenting to you, and this is opportunity to scan the QR code in the following slide. So you will have access to the full study and learn more about how Mastercard is approaching this ecosystem, what happened in the CPG ecosystem related to the digital transformation process. Okay, so this is a very good opportunity for taking this new learning and approach and see the Mastercard approach in the industry that we see in the white paper launching in partnership with PCMI. So you will can scan this QR code and get full access to the document. And then let's welcome to Anabel Ramirez. Anabel Ramirez is part of the PCMI team. And Anabel will share with us the results of the white paper. What is the key insight? What is these 5 digital trends? What is the recommendation that we have in order to embrace this huge and beautiful opportunity? So welcome, Anabel Ramirez, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Eduardo, and welcome everybody. We are so pleased to be able to present these results to you. So to set the stage, let's review the project background. This market study was commissioned by Mastercard and is guided by 3 key objectives. First, to size the opportunity and map emerging trends in industry digitization. Second, to understand the challenges faced by the traditional trade channel, particularly in adopting digital solutions. And third, to identify opportunities for the adoption of digital solutions within the CPG supply chain. In order to gather these insights and data, in the next slide, we began with desk research. We got in contact with different various reputable sources, including governments, multilateral organizations, and financial institutions. We also conducted in-depth interviews with key players in the CPG sector across the Americas. These discussions gave us a deeper understanding of the digitization trends across the region. From Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, we captured the most current and relevant trends shaping the CPG industry. So let's dive in. In the next slide, let's start with the critical role that small retailers play within the CPG industry and the global economy. So small retailers are essential drivers for local economic growth and community engagement. They not only contribute to the economy, but also serve as a crucial link between the CPG companies and their consumers. In fact, 50% of CPG products are sold through small retailers. In the Americas alone, we have around 12.4 million small retailers, ranging from a modern OXXO to an entrepreneur selling sweets independently from a street cart or a kiosk. We have Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, and Peru as they stand out for the number of small retailers in their countries, while the US stands out as the leader in the number of convenience stores. However, in the next slide, we're going to see that these small retailers face significant inefficiencies, mainly due to a lack of digitization and a heavy reliance on cash transactions. This makes them costly and inefficient. We can see that 43% of face-to-face retail purchases in the Americas are done still with cash. And this increases to 60–70% in rural areas in Latin America. Even more, only 20% of small retailers accept debit and credit card payments in the Americas. This increases to 50% in Brazil, but declines to less than 5% in Central America. This has serious implications for small retailers as they face increased costs, increased risk, theft, high operational costs due to cash handling, and significant management challenges. All of this affects their operations and impedes their competitive levels. However, this presents an incredible opportunity. In our next slide, we're going to see that this brings two amazing opportunities for the CPG industry and for small retailers, in B2C flows and in B2B flows. But let's talk about B2C flows first. These are, for example, your everyday purchase of buying something in a neighborhood store. This represents 43% transactions that are still made in cash and reaching a staggering 155 billion in potential digital payment opportunities. In B2B flows, what we see is that these are small retailers' purchases to CPG products and supplies. Notably, 90% of these transactions are still made in cash, and this represents a staggering 293 billion in a digitization opportunity. What's particularly striking is that this B2B transaction represents the larger opportunity of the two, with digitization potential, larger digitization potential in B2B flows than compared to B2C flows. However, in our next slide, what we see is that despite these promising opportunities presented by digital solutions, small retailers face operational and financial inclusion challenges that are impeding their ability to fully embrace digitization. Operational challenges, for example, manual processes and a form of pseudo-digitization, where digital processes revert to manual processes and vice versa. And all of this limits the ability of small retailers to improve their efficiency. Financial inclusion, for example, is key to enable small retailers to access financial services to facilitate their digitization. This brings opportunities for small retailers. And what we see is in our interviews, we saw in our next slide, that there are 5 trends that are crucial to digitizing the ecosystem. These are the key trends uncovered by our white paper. Our first trend, online ordering through B2B e-commerce. CPG companies are developing their own digital platforms to allow retailers to efficiently order products. A prime example of this comes from the BEES platform from ABInBev, the world's largest beverage manufacturer, one of the world's largest beverage manufacturer. And the BEES platform is enabling small retailers to place online orders, to record and consult their purchase history, to access loyalty programs, discounts, and to make online payments. Our second trend comes in the form of being able to order products via WhatsApp or other messaging apps. CPG companies are collaborating with technology partners such as Yalo, an intelligent sales platform tailored for B2B sales, and that is now actually incorporating artificial intelligence solutions to enable small retailers to place orders, to receive customer support, to access loyalty programs, among other functionalities. Our third trend comes in the form of B2B marketplaces. CPG companies are partnering with fintech companies that allow them to portray their products and for consumers to purchase directly from large manufacturers. Our prime example comes from Rocket in El Salvador, developed by Global Pay Solutions. And Rocket offers financial services complemented by a B2B marketplace where CPG companies can showcase their products, promotions, and manage their own logistics and invoicing. Our fourth trend comes in the form of credit via fintechs. This provides small retailers with access to working capital and creates another critical trend required in the industry. The final trend comes in the form of embedding instant payment capabilities into processes, contactless, instant digital payments, and hyper-personalization. Advancement in payment technologies make transactions smoother and they make them more secure. Hyper-personalization allows for companies to offer products and tailor their offerings for consumers based on their individual preferences, and thereby increasing consumer loyalty. These are the trends that we have uncovered. We have explored the vast opportunities within the CPG industry, examining the critical role that small retailers play in this dynamic landscape. We have also identified the challenges that small retailers face, as well as the trends that are paving the way for their digital transformation. Now, I would like to hand the floor back to Eduardo, who will guide us through the next segment of our webinar. Thank you all for your attention.
Wow, Annabelle, thank you so much for sharing with us the results. We see a specific 5 digital trends. This is undeniable that we have in front of us a new era of the digital transformations in the CPG industry. Now let's welcome to Nicolás Ingaramo. Is our SME expert, our Vice President for Global Alternative Distribution Channel and MasterCard globally. So Nico, thank you so much for being here, and tell us more about when SME wins, everyone wins.
Love it, Eduardo. Thank you so much for having me. So as I said, right, when SME success, the entire ecosystem benefits. Small and medium enterprises are interconnected within the CPG landscape. By supporting SMEs, we can drive economic growth and enhance the overall health of the industry. Let me elaborate on this concept, providing insights into the value of empowering SMEs. So as Annabelle said, right, there are 13 million small retailers with a diverse range of SMEs that drive business in the Americas. This includes supermarkets, corner stores, pharmacies. So depending on the CPG industry, you can have a diverse slate of small businesses. And these businesses are integral to the CPG sales ecosystem, with represented 42% of the CPG sales, serving as vital points of access for consumers. As we discuss their role, consider the unique challenges they face and the opportunities for growth in this segment. We can move into the next one. So for CPGs and SMEs alike, operational inefficiencies related to cash management can have significant cost. The various challenges faced by CPGs, including delays in revenue recognition due to manual reconciliation of handling cash, the resource allocations that they need to allocate to count and collect cash, and there's also security risks associated with handling cash. On the other side, as we like to say, we're centric on the SME. They struggle to get access to a credit card, loans, or working capital due to their lack of digital footprint due to handling cash. But also, what is even worse, is they're not able to get the necessary inventory, because if the SME don't have the cash at hand, the CPG is unable to unload the cargo for that SME, and that impacts their whole operations. So addressing these inefficiencies is essential for creating a more streamlined and effective ecosystem that benefits all stakeholders. So please let me allow you to share a brief video that illustrates the innovative solutions we're delivering to the market. Next slide.
MasterCard is empowering consumer packaged goods companies and CPG enablers worldwide by helping to modernize their small and medium enterprise networks payment and acceptance systems, creating fast, simple, and secure digital payment solutions. Cash transactions have costly consequences on the whole ecosystem. CPGs have an opportunity to maximize their business and uncover the hidden challenges and impact of cash on their operations. Through digitization, we can partner to help overcome the pain points of handling cash and checks, inverse logistics, and manual reconciliation. With many CPGs and CPG enablers already taking notice, now is the time to act and evolve to meet new demands. With everyday ordering and payment scenarios, the driver visits a store to collect orders. The order details are taken to the distributor. Products are collected from the warehouse and transported to the store. To collect payment, the delivery driver typically collects a cash or check transaction. The operations are slow and inefficient. However, when digitizing your distribution channels, the process of paying and getting paid can be easier, more efficient, and more cost-effective. Now, with a MasterCard small business card, the retailer visits the distributor website and orders using their card. Once the order is approved and payment authorized, the delivery driver is instructed and completes the order. The CPG benefits from increased efficiency, enhanced security, increased loyalty, sales growth. The SME benefits from access to capital, improved inventory management, reward and cashback schemes. We are modernizing the payments ecosystem for SMEs and driving revenue for CPGs. MasterCard is at the forefront of the digital transformation of B2B payments, replacing outdated cash-based systems with cutting-edge digital solutions for CPGs and for the financial ecosystem participants. We are the partner of choice. When small business wins, everyone wins.
So as you have seen, folks, MasterCard offers a range of tailored solutions designed to empower CPGs and distributors throughout their journey with three main pillars that it comes around our creating enticing value propositions for SMEs to change their behavior, but also building the ecosystem, bringing our partners to solve together the pain points that both the CPGs and SMEs have. And our third pillar, it's around launching and scaling the solutions to cover and make sure that in our go-to-market, we're succeeding and transforming the digital ecosystems of CPGs. And by that, we have different type of assets that we tap into, moving from financial inclusion and our efforts with MasterCard Strive and our Center for Inclusive Growth, partners across our markets that help us issue and accept cards, both in the US and in LATAM. Then we tap into loyalty solutions that allows us to build up compelling rewards to help those SMEs to redeem for more inventory. And then we also work closely in building up processes that help create supplier payments, both on account payables and account receivables, for those CPGs to be able to improve their processes within the finance teams. All in all, a holistic solution that helps to solve and bring together a very compelling value proposition for both our consumer product goods companies, partners, but also and really transforming the digitization of SMEs. So with that, I'll turn it back to Eduardo to walk you guys through the next steps.
Thank you so much, Nico. Very insightful. How powerful is the MasterCard approach with the ecosystem? As you see, value proposition, creating the value proposition, building the ecosystem, and launch and scale is a very comprehensive value prop. So thank you so much, Nico, for sharing this key and insightful conversation with us. So let's move on with the third part of the webinar today. So let's talk with the industry. Let's welcome to the expert. Let's welcome to the real life experience. So Pascal, Federico, Javier, and Ginger, welcome again. And let's start with the panel. But before that, let's remember to our audience today that we have the opportunity to make your questions and comments, suggestions, recommendations, and a specific ask for us in the in the little Q&A box on the top of your screen. Throughout this presentation, maybe you can opportunity to make some questions and answers and comments. Okay. So again, let's recap these conversations and the insightful conversation we have with our expert today. Thank you so much for being here. And Abelet, thank you for moderating this expert panel.
Thank you again, Eduardo. And I would like to pose some questions to the experts so we can hear and learn from their great experience in the industry. I would like to start with Ginger, if possible. And Ginger, I would like to ask you, based on your experience in the US, how would you characterize the current landscape of the CPG market in that country, particularly as it relates to small independent retailers? What are some of the pressing challenges these businesses face in adopting digital solutions? And are those challenges unique to the US market?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Anna Ballette, and thank you for the excellent material. So let me just start by saying CPG is critically important in the US and beyond. However, if you break down and really look at those segments that are critical parts of this, let's take small business. There are a number of challenges and headwinds that they're facing today. And you know, it's funny, no matter where I travel, whether it's the US, whether it's Latin America, whether it's Prague, small businesses are still small businesses. It doesn't matter where they are or the language that they speak. So a couple things to think about. Number one, most small businesses, especially within the CPG verticals that you saw, have tremendous challenges with access to capital. I'll start there because that is such an important area and why the work that MasterCard is doing in CPG is so important. It's not just about helping small businesses borrow money, but how do we help them get their own money in faster? And you saw some of the slides around acceptance solutions. This is a very, very important piece. I would say related to this access to capital is fears of inflation and certainly fears of tariffs. Small businesses only have 27 days of cash on hand. And so any blip in their cash flow, any change in their costs is going to be very, very difficult for them to absorb. And I think when we think about this industry, again, how do we help these businesses within the CPG ecosystem to get paid quicker, to have a much more digitally efficient operations? And I would say the last area that we're seeing that's extremely important is labor. Small businesses are finding it very hard to hire people these days. And I would say that's another challenge that we have to look and help address as well. So just a few to lay out.
Thank you, Ginger. Awesome to learn from you. I would like to follow up with Javier from Grupo Steiner. Javier, hi. As pioneers in the region, can you share specific examples of how your recent innovations have empowered small retailers to enhance their customer engagement and drive sales?
Yes. Good morning again. Thank you, Anna, for the opportunity, and congratulations, MasterCard, for the excellent white paper. So yes, to put in context, we work with not small retailers. We work with the mom and pop stores, retailers that really have an issue with how to handle cash. In fact, and I would say probably 99% of these only handle cash and have no credit, and their cash flow is even far smaller than 27 days. So they live on a day-to-day basis cash cycle. So working with them is you have to adapt to their flows and to their processes and their way of accumulating cash for them to buy products from you. So they do a lot of magic in trying to make sure their cash flow matches all the orders that they're putting in. So using these tools, using a marketplace within a super app like Rocket, is an excellent opportunity for for all these small retailers to manage a better cash flow. For example, our salesman is only able to visit them once a week, but they're able to put in orders every day if they want. They can put in an order every time they have cash and every time they know they will have cash available. They do a magic work on trying to match their cash flow to when the deliveries are going to happen. But in this case, they can put actually orders in every single day if they want to. They can put in orders 24/7. They can do it at night. They can do it whenever they don't have consumers at their stores, or they can even put in emergency orders. So this all helps their business grow. This also helps the loyalty with their consumers as well. This prevents stockouts. This allows them to always have product available, matching their cash flow, but also matching their consumer needs. So this all helps drive their sales up, but also allows them to have the possibility of having new products through the marketplace, being able to have them in their stores and having new products, innovations for their consumers. So this all helps their consumer loyalty, like I said before, but also that helps matches their biggest needs, which is managing the cash flow. And managing that cash flow means having to put in frequent or more frequent orders at the time when they know they're going to have the cash. And this all allows their business to run way better.
Thank you, Javier. Awesome to learn from you as well. Federico, I would like to ask you if you could please walk us through the key components of your solution and explain how it operates and to address the challenges that we have been hearing that CPGs and small retailers are facing at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, what we do through Rocket is that we've built a digital ecosystem that empowers micro and small retailers, and it has 5 principal functions. And I think these will answer one of the questions that I'm seeing here at the Q&A. They are asking how to leverage this opportunity, and I think what we're doing through the ecosystem, helps the mom and pop shop owner start receiving cash by we give them a point of sale technology that accepts credit cards, and that becomes digital cash. They can use that cash to buy airtime top-ups, and then that enables them to sell airtime mobile top-ups. We also offer them a convenient model for customers to pay utility bills. We have the e-commerce, the marketplace solution that provides access to products, CPG products, and everything that I'm mentioning. It builds data, and when we have the data, we know what sells, when it sells. We can have a faster and easier distribution. Also, we can offer what people want based on real sales. It also gives us a stronger retailer loyalty, and it enables us to reach more stores, because once the app is planted in the hands of the micro and small mom and pop shop owner, we can focus in other neighborhoods. So at the end, it is an ecosystem that we're trying to create, and it offers the opportunity also to give credit. As Javier said, these stores have way less than 27 days of cash. They work on almost a daily basis, so credit is really, really important. And what Rocket really differs from other solutions is that it has everything in one single application.
Awesome. Thank you, Federico. Thank you so much. And Pascal, I would like to ask you, before your project launch, we know you had a pilot in Mexico. How did you assess the needs of small retailers, and what research methods did you use during the exploratory phase to understand what requirements they have?
Yeah, thanks, Annabelle. And I think it's really vibrant and really interesting to hear the different perspectives today. So we approach every project according to the economics of mutuality operating model. This model was developed in a 15-year research partnership with Oxford University to codify what practices drive commercial impact and societal impact at the same time. So in this case, commercial impact for the CPG companies and the societal impact for the small shop owners. So they would thrive, their lives would prosper, and they would level up in society. And we were fortunate enough to collaborate with Mars on, we call it route to market programs all over the world. And one of their 5 principles that is like a North Star for the teams working at Mars is mutuality. Mutual value creation, creating value for the company and for society. So when we deploy these various domains of the operating model, like think about it like as a software or as a suite of methodologies, tools for very specific challenges when it comes to mutual value creation. We have one domain that's called the analyze domain. And in this domain, we deploy a mix of system thinking and ethnography to understand the different systemic dynamics in the ecosystem. So we run, for example, qualitative interviews with all relevant stakeholders, but we wouldn't focus only on the, like, let's say, mom and pop shops, but also talk to independent sellers, talk to all the stakeholders around them, community organizations, large retailers, distributors, families, tech enablers, and so on. And a lot of organizations, CPGs, come to us and say, oh my God, Pascal, we really want to understand this specific customer segment better. They are so used to understanding how they can best push out their product, market their product, run a go-to-market program. And they have learned that it's much more effective with us to leverage the dynamics that are already at play in the ecosystem and then work towards a proper pull. That's what we do. We try to identify the dynamics in the ecosystem and then build on top of them. So once we have a good qualitative understanding through those like stakeholder interviews and so on, we deploy our 4 capital model to quantify the different dynamics in the ecosystem and identify the most pressing issues. And then we use those issues as a starting point for go-to-market. And we often find that the most pressing issues are not the ones that are top of mind for our clients in the CPG industry. So to give you an example, they might talk about, maybe we could offer like a credit offering, right? But then we talk to the small mom and pop shop owners and we understand what they really care about is whether they'll be able to hand over their family business to the next generation. And so what we realize and what we use in the kind of like strategies and go-to-market models that we build together with MasterCard and other partners is that value creation and value capture don't need to be the same thing. So we help the CPG companies to create value one way, but then capture it another. So in this particular example, like, for example, the access to capital challenge, like they wouldn't really bring that up, like from our experience. But what they would bring up is, hey, by the way, I have this good relationship to my distributors. Like I'm kind of informally getting a little bit of credit, you know, like buy now, pay later offering. But they also bring up that, yeah, they have this issue that I mentioned before on like what happens to the family business. And so with partners like Mars, we would offer, for example, training programs then, or we would advise them on offering insurance to these small shop owners. Basically like creating a platform where they thrive and by opening through that platform the door to also helping them to digitalize step by step, but to do that in a really trust-based environment. And I think that's really important to build these programs with nuance and with human and with the challenge at the center of the ecosystem. And that's what we try to bring in our kind of like approach and research methodology.
Awesome, Pascal. Thank you so much. I would like to place another question to Ginger very briefly. If you can tell us what specific resources or programs do you see as most effective in helping small businesses in the US to embrace digital payments?
Yeah, it's a great question. We believe that education is the cornerstone of all of this. If you take a look at small business needs, they need help with access to capital, cash flow management, remaining safe and secure, since over 50% of cyber attacks happen to them. Really, their ability to manage their cash flow, acquire new customers. So what we try to do in North America is we're very, very focused on providing education through programs like our Digital Doors program. We do a lot of webinars. We've just completed one where we had hundreds of small businesses learning about social media marketing, artificial intelligence, and how small businesses can use it. So we really base our education on the needs and pain points that they're experiencing. And we've had a lot of success doing that. We believe if we can keep small businesses strong, since they in the US employ over 64% of all people and really drive our economies, this education through these programs that we put out is critically important.
Awesome, awesome, Ginger. Thank you very much. And very, very briefly, Javier, going back to you, how do you see the future regarding digital payments now that the order step is in place?
Well, I think digital payments will change the ecosystem a lot. Like I mentioned before, having or dealing with very small retailers, which their biggest issue is cash flow, making available credits, making available small credits, or even the possibility of paying with a credit card will allow them to boost their businesses pretty much or a lot. Just because they're going to be able to buy more, they're going to be able to manage their business better, they're going to be able to increase the availability of their product and their offering and grow their business. So I think digitalization will also open a new door for them to increase sales with their consumers, being able to offer alternative or digital payments with the consumers, attracting newer consumers, younger consumers. They're going to be able to want to buy their better products, newer products, new availability, but also we can see that the younger crowds now don't carry cash, they only carry a credit card, so they're going to be able to attract them better. So I think it opens a huge opportunity, and with Rocket, we're hoping that comes very soon, and looking forward to that new phase of the business.
Awesome. And yes, Federico, we know that now Rocket is deployed. So could you share with us some statistics that showcase the platform success? You're on mute.
Sorry, absolutely. I was saying that, yeah, Rocket is 100% fully deployed in El Salvador, and we're very surprised, positively surprised by the numbers that we are seeing. For example, I can share that there's been a 15 to 18 incremental purchase by the marketplace users. This means that whenever the app is already planted, they are buying more goods. They have more time engaging with the platform, with the catalog. We have about 500 products currently, and we're growing that offer. And with the traditional sales system, which means that a person has to go store by store taking orders, the time of engagement is about 6 minutes. And we're seeing an engagement time almost quadruple with Rocket. So that means mom and pop shop owners can see all the products, can see the offers, can go through the promotions, and that's driving sales up. We are also seeing a more deep engagement with the other products that Rocket has. We are seeing them adapting mobile top-ups. We're seeing utility payments increase, and that brings a lot of benefits to the community, because They can now go to the mom and pop shop to pay their electricity bill. And before, they had to pay for transportation, they had to make long lines. The mom and pop shops are benefiting from accepting credit cards. And as I said before, these all sets the stage for a credit ecosystem that at the end, it's how these mom and pop shops prosper.
Awesome. Thank you, Federico. And Pascal, final question. What criteria do you use to measure success in terms of financial capital, human capital, and social capital?
Yeah, thanks, Annabelle. And Federico, you just like closed on the words of what can we do to make these small businesses prosper, right? And that's exactly what we could recommend as our ultimate currency of success for such a deployment of digitalization within the SMEs through the CPG companies. But what we would insist on, that this currency of success is framed through the beneficiary lens. So what does prosperity really mean for the, let's say, a small shop owner? Maybe it's improved satisfaction with owning a shop, or improved income satisfaction, or improved life satisfaction. So that would be our ultimate currency of success for a project like this. But we would work with the CPG company to understand how these, let's say, impact metrics are actually correlated to financial performance metrics of the CPG companies. So with our partners, we are actually able to say, for every, let's say, rupee if it's in India, or dollar if it's in the US, for every unit of money deployed through a program, this is the uplift in income satisfaction, or this is the uplift in satisfaction with owning a job, or like the future outlook, or whatever the metric may be on an impact perspective. And this is the uplift in the financial returns for the company. And this is all beautifully aligned then, and creates, let's say, a dashboard for the company to steer the business in a way that works for all. And these impact metrics, we then back up with outcome metrics, which are kind of like interim metrics to track success, and the output metrics that are basically right at the intersection of a program. So for example, how many terminals are deployed, or how many store visits, or how many people have taken credit out, and so on. So from output to outcome to impact, but most importantly, how the impact is correlated to the financial performance. Because if you know that, it's just beautiful to steer the business this way, because everybody then wins.
So thank you, Pascal. And guys, we have almost 10 minutes left. So we have a very interesting question for the audience. So Annabelle, let's recap these questions and let's close the session. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Thank you, Eduardo. We have a great question for Ginger. I would like to place it. It's from Luis Mora. And Ginger, Luis asks, I agree 100% with the challenges SMEs face. Can you elaborate on the cultural challenge to switch from cash only or primarily cash transactions to a digital model, as the cultural challenge of waiting for the salesperson to visit them for an order versus a self-service approach in an app? Recommendations on how best to deal with such challenges?
I love the question. And here's what I would say. And there are definitely cultural variables. But even if you use an app, which I ultimately think a self-service app is the way to go, you still must provide the comfort and the education as to why people should do this. So just putting an app out there without helping them understand, and the value of keeping cash out of the system is so much. Number one, quite frankly, safety. Making sure that people know that whether you're the receiver of the cash and you have to deposit it, there's a lot of risk in doing that. helping people understand that you have much better access to data and information if you do not use cash, because cash comes and then it goes, and it's very difficult to track it. I think focusing on these areas as to why cash is not a good approach. Once you do that, I completely agree that creating a self-service model accelerates that change. But I think it's an excellent, excellent question. I think you need a little bit of both, because we're all people and we need to be convinced of something first.
And to just to complement on Ginger's answer, and that's where the consumer product good companies, that they have those executives, that they have built up those relationship with those SME owners, are critical on the education component, right? So that has been key to success. To Ginger's point, we can create apps, but if they don't know how to use it, they need to find somebody that they trust. And what we have seen, that the representatives of those CPG companies are key to the success of that education.
Awesome. And Nicolas, why I have you here on camera, what is MasterCard's role in this process of digitizing small stores operations?
Amazing. So we have been in a journey of working very closely with partners from across the spectrum, right? CPG enablers, issuers, acquirers, and building up value propositions, as I mentioned before, that are component enough, compelling enough for these SME owners to change their behaviors, because we can build business cases, presentations, and everything else, but we need to put, as Ginger likes to say, the SME at the center, so that we change years of behaviors of cash, check, ACH payments that they have always done into a very compelling value proposition with loyalty points or incentives or cash discounts, that we showcase how this new way of payments can really benefit their business. And when they see the value of that, the viralization of that behavior becomes, because the SME owners talks to each other, right? So once we are able to showcase the value to them through education and showcase where is up for them and how this benefits their business, this becomes a viral way of changing behavior of those SME owners.
Yeah, and I'll just add one more thing, Nico. Great points. And remember that if you have cash in your register or cash wherever you're holding it, that cash has to be deposited versus accepting card and utilizing digital means, which means that money can get into your account right away. And we believe that if we can help small businesses with the partnerships that we have with the CPG industry to help them do that, then it's possible they wouldn't have to borrow so much money because they'll have their own money in quicker. So I think those are some of the additional benefits, and I think that's what makes the partnership that MasterCard has with the CPG industry so critically important.
Exactly.
Awesome. Another question. If it's mostly cash, how can fintechs, banks, and other institutions best leverage this opportunity with CPGs and small store owners?
Who would like to take that?
Yeah.
Federico.
Let's see, Fede.
I really like that question. I think it's really interesting, and we need to point out the value of the partnerships. Let me talk about our case. We partnered with Grupo Steiner. They have access and they serve around 23,000 mom and pop shops every week or every 15 days. And they have a relationship of trust because they've been working with them for decades. So we need to take advantage in a good way of that relationship and that trust that they have with them. And that's the door of entry for us to the digitalization and all the benefits that this has. Also, it is the first step for education. You know, they've been serving them for decades. They know, they trust them. And if they bring them the app with the marketplace and all the other financial services, education is easier because they already trust them. And I would also like to point out that there's a new generation taking charge of these businesses, and that's a huge advantage. So partnerships between enablers, startups, MasterCard, and CPGs is one of the formulas that's been working for us really well.
Wow, this is an immense honor to be here, and thank you very much for sharing your experience and in this Q&A session. As we see, we have a special final remarks. The first one, to get access to the white paper and using this QR code. The second one is say thank you for all of you, Annabelle, Pascal, Ginger, Federico, Nico, and Javier for being here. This was very, very special panel of experts. We have thousands of questions in the box right now. But this is a going forward conversations, okay? We are seeing many opportunities across the Americas, as we see in the white paper, and also we have a special recommendations for us as final remarks, okay? The first one is try to build an infrastructure technology with the correct partners, and this technology infrastructure needs to be scalable, okay? The second recommendations is recapping all the information we shared with you today, is embrace the financial inclusions, because this is the best way to approach to create the trust and also the building a sustainable ecosystem for the small, medium segment. And also the creating the correct partnerships, embracing this new opportunity. This will be key to understand the reality in the CPG industry and the largest distribution across the America. So thank you very much for being here. Again, this is a QR code. You can access to this full study using this QR code. Reach out our key panel expert via different emails or also DM by LinkedIn. So we'll be here for you and start and continue conversation for exploring this opportunity in your respective country. Thank you very much for being here. It was a pleasure, and see you soon.